Welcome, spiritual family. Welcome back to another video. It is your host, Spiritual Zay. Welcome all gods and goddesses to another video. I just wanted to go over another news lecture for you guys and just share my commentary and my thoughts on it. I'm not gonna waste any time. Let's get straight into it. This is from your host, the one and only Tucker Carlson. Let's get it.
A mission of equity. Are you going to join the mission of equity? Can you define it? Lieutenant Colonel Matthew.
Let's go to the definition real quick. We have to bring it up. We have to. I hope that's how you spell it. We have to bring it up. We have to figure out. Everybody in the audience has to know what the word equity means. The quality of being fair and impartial. Let's continue.
Lohmeyer can define it. He knows what that mission looks like. He was a commander in the Space Force. He was then fired for speaking out against the open political indoctrination that he saw there. He's the author of the book Irresistible Revolution, Marxism's Goal of Conquest.
So pretty much being fair, but at the same time fucking you over. Let's continue.
And the unmaking of the American military. Colonel Lohmeyer joins us tonight. Lieutenant Colonel, thanks so much for coming on. So NASA, you would think, would be the one branch agency that would be immune from the equity mission. Were you, I mean, you've served in the U.S. government for a long time. Were you under the impression that NASA had a problem with discrimination in years past?
Yeah, I don't know, Tucker. Thanks, first off, for having me on your show. And as always, I don't...
Notice the things that come out of the individual's mouth. The first thing he says about the higher up elite company is, I don't know. If he were to say anything on this live tonight about that higher up company that he actually knows, because this is an experienced person. He's a Space Force commander. He knows. This nigga knows. If he were to say anything truthful, I guarantee you he would be found dead the next morning. Continue.
I don't speak for the Defense Department, but speak for myself.
Speak for the Defense Department.
I don't think that any of our institutions at this point are immune from this idea that we're going to be pursuing equity. Clearly, these are hot topics.
This is the strongest fucking message anybody in America can hear right now. I don't think any of our defense departments, which means that all departments that you think defend you as an American citizen, even though an American citizen isn't real, but all the departments that you think defend you are not immune to this idea of equity, which means that they are not immune to the idea of fucking you over. Let's continue.
Topics, the talking point of the day. In fact, I do want to define it for the American people. You mentioned, I know the definition of equity. It's important for the American people to understand the difference between equity and equality. One of them is good and the ideal, and the other is not good. We tend to confuse at the moment equality of opportunity, which is the ideal and is something that's a part of America's founding philosophy, with equity. It's a new term. It's used wittingly.
Right. The idea that everybody couldn't be equal. The idea that we can all live together in happiness. The idea that everybody can put away their hatred and just live together in peace. But let's continue with America's real plan.
Which essentially means enforced outcomes or enforced inequality. In fact, based on what I've seen in the Department of Defense, and now what I'm hearing is permeating institutions across the country, it's essentially even potentially illegally discriminatory policy. Equity is not good as it is defined, but it sounds good, and that's why we use the word. But NASA has historically been, I think, a symbol of inclusion and equal opportunity.
Yes.
NASA is the kind of an organization that people can look at and understand that regardless of your background, you're able to show up here, just like in the Defense Department, and rise up based on your merit and have an opportunity to make a name for yourself, to rise to leadership, and actually do very important things for the country. Because there's a...
But based off of what? What is NASA based off of? Is NASA based off of equality, or is NASA based off of equity? NASA is based off of equity. They're based off of lies. They live off of lies, not equality. Let's continue.
Unifying mission that these institutions believe in, whether it's space exploration in the case of NASA, or defending our country and our allies from serious threats that we have in the world. People in uniform, for example, rally around that mission and
Yes.
have historically not been caught up in the kind of identity politicking that you're talking about and that I'm hearing in your monologue. And so I'll just make one point to say that I think our senior leaders and our national leaders need to think very carefully about whether or not they want to inject tribalism into our long trusted institutions in this country that typically have not been infected with tribal thinking, with all that entails. Do we really want to walk the road that will cause us to abandon Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream of having a colorless society where, in fact, we're starting once again to judge people by the color of their skin, impugning guilt to other groups of people based on their group identity, not because of anything that they've ever done necessarily themselves, but based on who they are, accidentally even, let's say. That is a good definition of racism.
Now, the news, I won't even say NASA, the news itself has tapped into our ancestral knowledge. They've actually even brought it out on news forecast. What I'm pretty much trying to say, and what this nigga is pretty much trying to say, the one on the right, the one in the fucking checkered shirt, is trying to say, is that NASA and all of our defense forces are pushing an agenda that will cause people to look at your race even more. This is the reason why he's saying, do we really want to push away from what Martin Luther King was saying, a world where people don't define you by your race? But this is exactly what our world defense systems are pushing. Let's get into it.
We don't impugn guilt to people based on the color of their skin.
Exactly.
No, and we never should. And I always imagined that the military was the shining beacon of what the rest of the country should be, because it was a colorblind meritocracy in there. So I think this threatens all of us.
Yeah, right. Because at a point, anybody of any race and any color can fight for America. Anybody, any race in the military can fight for America, right? You can go in any race, you can fight for America if you want to, but will America fight for you? Will America fight for you?
In fact, the military is great at that, Tucker, and that's why so many people are upset about what they're hearing.
Yeah, and they have every reason to be. I know that you are. Thank you. Thank you for speaking out and for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
So, here's to sum up my conclusion. America is headed into an all definitive war where people are going to be dividing people by the race. And this is exactly what our, previous so-called black leaders did not want to happen, but they did foresee it. They did foresee it, but they didn't want this to happen. And this is exactly what is unfolding due to our defense leaders, as you heard the white male obviously say. America has no intent on living out Martin Luther King's dream. America has no intent on treating people equally due to their colors. America has no intent on doing that at all. And a own space engineer just told you that on live. This is why so many people are watching this and are so amazed, because this whole time we've been trying to form some type of equality. This whole time we have, with the George Floyd incident, with all the incidents that's been going on in history, we try to form some type of equality. Stop this. Let's come together. And pretty much what was just revealed to you was that America never had any intention on doing this. This is the agenda. They're rolling it out, and they want to eliminate the people who are against them. And this is simple. It's simple as hell. This place was taken from us, and they don't want us to have it back. Very simple. Anyways, this was my message. Spiritual Zay here, signing out. I love everybody. Hope you guys gain some acknowledgement from this video. Share this video as much as you can. Love everybody. Peace and blessings. Peace, peace.